Hi everybody, it's Kira from Toronto here. Welcome to the Tachless show about people who succeed by doing things differently. And today I have a great guest. He's from Europe, from France. Welcome, Sébastien.
Hi, Kira. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sure, it's my pleasure. I love communicating with people outside of North America or Israel because I gain so much knowledge. So you have done a great journey from being a marketing person to the technological person. And I wanted to talk to you today because once you've said that marketers who understand technology and business applications have superpowers. Can you explain why you think that?
Yes, well, I when I was a sales and marketing manager in the past, I've always loved implementing processes. I'm convinced when you want to get to results, it's better to do it in a structured way, and not expect any luck. Usually, it's improving, continuous improvement that at the end works very well, and processes really help in doing that. And at some points, I was trying to implement good processes, but with hardly any tool,
Mm-hmm.
so it's only on your ability to convince people and to check the results. So you can be good at it, but once you get to do it with proper tools, like a CRM, for example, and one that you can administrate yourself, then you feel like well, maybe not a superhero, but you get some help that you never had before. And that's what happened to me like 5 or 6 years ago when I discovered Zoho as a CRM, and then the other tools. And then I could see that everything I wanted to do for a long time, now I had the right tool to do it. And yeah, it's like a very good hard skill complement to a manager, because if you only count on your soft skills, your ability to convince people, to manage a team, to implement a good strategy, um, well, uh, having the proper tools to help you, it's totally different. It's a total change. And if I look back now, I could not work without these tools. It's like yeah. To stay in the comparison with superheroes, if you look at Iron Man,
Mm-hmm.
and you take off the shield, it's just a simple guy. And I feel like, yeah, with the OCRM and other tools, you really, yeah, it's changing. It changes your business life. I think so.
Yeah, I love your analogy because when you were talking about processes, I was thinking of Kaizen theory.
Hmm.
So, like you are doing something, measuring, constantly improving, but how can you do that without the tools? You're
Yeah,
so right. And then that's true that in the marketing community, the hardest conversation we're having is about measurements.
yeah,
And
right.
yes, you can bring marketing measurements to the table, but if you cannot support that with hard data from the business, which basically comes from CRM and operational resources, then you really can become a superhero having all that. So today you are basically helping clients to set up their CRM and like technological environment that can help them run the whole business on. So, can you tell me what marketing skills actually help you serve your clients the best way?
I think from my previous experiences, what really helps me today is mostly quickly understanding my clients' market and business models.
Mm,
Because, yeah, right before implementing any CRM or other tool, and go into the implementation and set up the tools, we really start from a blank page, and we just describe. We ask a lot of questions just to understand what they do, why they do it like that. We ask that quite a lot, even challenging sometimes the way they do it, because before to do anything good, we really need to understand their case. And what I've seen, it's always different. Even clients in the same economy market segments I haven't seen two companies doing things the same way. And
Yes.
yeah, that's what I kept from my marketing experience, even sales experience, is understand their market, their client, and it's always very specific, you know, and then you can do things the right way, I think.
Yeah, it's cool. I've recently had an interview with my prior boss. He's the CEO and serial entrepreneur. And what he said was, if you have a good marketing team, it forces you to define what you do, how you differentiate, because marketers are asking questions, the right questions. And sometimes stakeholders don't understand why marketers ask that. And if the technical person asks that, that's even more confusing, I guess.
Yeah,
So
right,
it's
you're
great
right.
that
Yeah.
you made that transition, and that pays off, right? So it's good to
Yeah.
continue doing so.
Yeah, sometimes, as you say, sometimes people call us and talk to us for the first time, expecting that we have some solution on the shelf. You know, oh, this is what you need.
Hmm.
Uh, we'll just implement it, and it probably fits to your need. And that never works like that. We have to ask questions. We have to really understand what they want to achieve and how their client and their offer proposition, what they offer to the market also is unique, even to implement CRM in the first phase. You know, even something simple needs to be done, knowing the context and the business model.
Yeah, you are facilitating the strategic thinking. Isn't that
Yeah,
amazing?
yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's a great segue to my next question. What are the main challenges your clients are facing these days or last year, and whether that's, you think, specific to your market?
Every client has a different uh, need when they come to us, at least the way they express it.
Hmm.
And usually the challenge is not the technical answer, because what we can do today with the tools, I'm talking about the tools, but we can use the native features of the tools, but there are also the way we can develop functions, you know, integrate with other tools, and you can go very far. Technically, we can answer lots of needs. But the challenge you see almost in every company today is more the human aspect and the way they can manage the change. You know, in France, like
Yes.
in I think a lot of countries since the start of the COVID episode, I've seen some acceleration of the digital transformation for
For
companies.
sure. Yeah.
It was quite brutal for some of them. You
Hmm.
know, they had to work from home overnight, and they were hearing about that for years. That at some point you should be able to work from home, but then they had to do it. So it was good in a way that it accelerated things, but then people are not ready for it sometimes,
Mm-mm.
and. So this was the COVID context. It was a bit special, but even with normal context, when you want to implement a CRM, you don't want to go too fast, because they want the digital transformation, that they are aware they have to implement tools and to be competitive, but then not all the people are reacting the same. So the challenge is how you do that with the people you have in your company now. You don't want to fire everyone just to recruit only geeks and people who are embracing the change. So um, from my experience, because I also did mistake in the past, wanting to go too fast. The
Hmm.
challenge is to to make sure you please the boss. You give them tools, reporting tools, a very good analytic tools, but you want to please also the users, you know, and even the hardest, the one you struggle the most to convince, you have to focus on this guy, and once this guy is convinced, you have won. So to resume, the challenge we face is the ability of people to use the tools.
Yeah, it's amazing how this, let's say, technological change spans across the whole company, and how underestimated the value of a vendor like you is, because at times people listen to an external vendor more than to their own employees, and that's known, that's scientifically proven, I think. And you mentioned change management, which is like the whole different infrastructure with its own certifications and the amazing people working there. So then, how do you piece it all together being a Zoho consultant? What's your process? Because it sounds like you're lifting a lot.
I think what's helping is to have some previous experience. I think you can be junior in this job, you can be a bit more senior, and you can do a good job in both cases. What I do is I use a lot of my past experience because I've been in companies, I've been managing sales teams and marketing teams before. So I use that a lot, and also the way we work is by doing also an internal process. We use we do it step by step, and the first step we do is, as I said, asking questions to understand the need, do some audit at first, and then we'll use some diagrams, we introduce some models, and just do that as a first step, and that prevents from going too fast and developing or implementing a tool, and by going too fast, realizing after a few days or few weeks that you went in the wrong direction, and the client says, no, this is not what we want. This is not what we said. We want this. No. This is not possible. We take the right amount of time at the beginning to build these diagrams. We do several to modelize the architecture, the tools architecture, the processes also. We describe them, and once this is agreed with the client, the customer, then we can have a better picture of the budget also. Is this something we can do in a few weeks? Is it something longer that we'll need to do step by step? How we want to do it? Is it more doing it with a few sessions together, working together, or do you want a global quote for the project? And this is the way we work. And then we do a lot of meetings with the customer during the project. We won't work on our side and then deliver the end result. Of course, we have a lot of tests with some key users before saying, okay, this is okay now. The first step is done and we can go live.
Yeah, is this the methodology that your company has developed with the time, or does it have to do anything with Agile?
I think it's a lot of common sense also and experience, but now we are more and more putting in as proper tools. The diagrams, we've been using that for a few months now. We were doing things like that, but now it's a proper offer that we do as a first step, And we also use Zoho Connect, that as a platform to discuss with the customer while we are doing the project, to prevent from multiple emails and the data going in different tools. We try to have something quite organized also during the project.
Yeah, that's great. Now I understand why I asked, because Agile also says people above processes. So that's what you do. That's awesome. That's great. And based on what you told me, who are the main people you are working with throughout the project? Because you named like key users, but there are also probably decision makers and from different categories, from different departments. Are there like any rules that proved working best for you?
Yeah, there is. The obvious answer could be, or one could think, the CEO should be the best interlocutor, because he's the one with the most power. He knows the company. He's got the budget. Of course, for us, it's not the right answer. Of course, the CEO, the owner, has to be a good support, a good sponsor to the project. But for me, the best interlocutor I've had are sales manager or marketing managers, people with enough autonomy and power to take decisions. They have the budget and they have also the knowledge of where they want to go, and it's their expertise. So they will be really into the project. And then together with this interlocutor with enough autonomy, we need also key users, as I said, and even someone who is a good example of the average employee, you know?
Right. Uh-huh.
Not especially the most motivated and convinced, who's already using SaaS tools, or you know, who's good at tech. We
Mm-hmm.
like you cannot. The key user has to be a good example of, yeah, the average employee. And with these people, we will try to implement. We will ask them to try the new workflow, the new processes, and once the key user can agree this is working for them and it makes their life easier, then we know we have done a good part of the job, because they will help the marketing manager or the sales manager to convince the rest of the team. You know? It's not going from a
Top
vertical,
down, yeah. Mm-hmm.
top down. It's also coming from the team itself. So that's a good example. Also, sometimes we are in touch with the IT team,
Mm-hmm.
and for good reason. Sometimes we have to consider integrating with existing tools. So of course, it's good to have also a discussion with them. But it cannot only be a project with IT. We need to be working with the people who will use the tools.
Yes, I love what you said, because what we evangelize in our company is that CRM is not an IT project. It's a business project, and people who need to be involved need to know the business.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
that's great. We're totally aligned. And then it often happens that after the project has been implemented, like hands off, we are done, bye. What do you do for post-implementation support? Because you just mentioned so many business-related people who actually get wings with your system, because they have the numbers, they spend less time on, converting prospects, and that empowers them to actually be those superheroes. What do you do for post-project support?
There are several cases. I told you we were doing some modelization at first, producing the diagrams. In one
Mm-hmm.
of these diagrams, we look at the perimeter of the project, and this perimeter can be they can be confirmed tools that we want to implement in the first step, and there can be potential tools or implementations for later on. And what we experience is that most of the time, the whole perimeter won't be implemented in one go. Maybe it's a bit of a cliche what I will do now, but digital transformation is usually really a journey. You know, it's not like let's do our digital transformation in 2 weeks and now
Mm-hmm.
we're done. So often, what we get from clients, well, they can come back to us regarding something we implemented in the first step. So of course we don't want them to be stuck at some point because something is not understood or it's not working. We have to look at it, of course, because we want them satisfied and it has to be working. It can be something related to Zoho tools. So then we can be in touch with the Zoho supporters also to look at it. But most of the time, what we get from our clients when they come back to us is new needs. You know, okay, now this is working, but what we would like now is what we've done here. We want it for this, or could it be possible to do this? And then, of course, we look at it, and after the first phase, usually the work is even more efficient because we know how to work with the client. The client knows how we work, and so we get usually we never stop at the end of the first step and don't hear from the client anymore. It's usually starting for a longer time. Yeah.
It's so similar to marketing, like so many marketing campaigns stop at some point and don't even penetrate into the retention or loyalty space. And that's such a huge potential, and sustainable growth with marketing is so important, especially when marketing budgets sink. And looks like CRM and technological applications is doing quite the same, and they should be working together, marketing, sales, and technologies. So last question to wrap up. What is one thing that you're enjoying the most in your day-to-day?
What's different from my previous experiences where I was more focusing on one market and one business model. Here I get a lot of a diversity of clients.
Mm-hmm.
And diversity is not only the markets, it's the companies themselves. As I told you, in the same market, you get very different way of working in companies. And with this job, that's the chance we have is every new customer, every new prospect is different. So by being different, also it pushes you, we are always learning, and we have to learn a lot because of the new needs, and we have to be exploring solutions within Zoho products, features, and that's quite stimulating because every day is different.
Yeah, and then you can cross-pollinate the knowledge that you've acquired in a specific industry and bring the best practices to other clients. And that's not what every agency does, but that's what clients expect from us. Oftentimes, that's great.
Yeah, it's not that easy sometimes to tell them that we want to give them some experience. Sometimes they think they know, they have been doing this way for years. We just want to replicate this in a CRM, and there we say, maybe not. We should look at it, because from experiences in other companies, there are good tips that could be useful.
Yeah, that's huge benefit. Thank you so much for the conversation. And now please introduce yourself. I saved that to the end.
All right. So Sébastien from France. I work as a project manager with Transition. I said the French way. Transition with a Z. That stands for Zoho, because we are a Zoho partner. So I help companies, small and medium companies, to with their digital transformation, and mostly implementing CRM and other connected tools. And,
amazing.
And before that, I was doing it myself as a Zoho user for a few years. That convinced me of the what you can do with these tools.
Thank you so much. And today we talked about the superpowers of connecting between marketing, sales, and business applications. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Kira. Bye-bye.